Good morning. I hereby call to order this fifth meeting of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission for the year 2025. We welcome everyone joining us here in the room today, as well as those joining us on the live stream. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. At today's meeting, which is open to the public, the Commission will act on various matters. Since adequate forums have been made available for public participation in cases before the Commission, there is no opportunity for the public to address the Commission at this public meeting. Public meeting motions, statements, and video will be available on the Commission's website later today. I will note we do have the presence of Commissioner Coleman. Commissioner Coleman, are you with us?
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Coleman. All 5 commissioners are present for today's meeting. The first matter on this morning's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 6, 2025. I would like to recognize Commissioner Zerfas as the editor of the minutes. Commissioner Zerfas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have reviewed the minutes of the February 6, 2025 public meeting and move that they be approved as submitted. Thank you.
Heard the motion by Commissioner Zerfas. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and minutes are approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary, we are ready for your presentation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Your various bureaus and offices have prepared the following agenda items for your consideration. Therefore, let us begin on page 1 with matters presented by the Bureau of Audits. It is recommended in an omnibus motion that the Commission adopt both items on page 1, beginning with the audit report on the distribution system improvement charge for the Philadelphia Gas Works, and continue the omnibus motion to include all 3 items on page 2 and including both items on page 3, ending the omnibus with the gas cost rate audit report for the Leatherstocking Gas Company, LLC, and releasing all audit reports contained in the omnibus motion to the public.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 4, in matters presented by Director Mumford and the Office of Competitive Market Oversight, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 4, beginning with the guidelines for the eligible customer list for suppliers and ending the omnibus with the interim guidelines for the Pennsylvania retail natural gas supply market.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Yanora, seconded by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? I will note it's a big day for Director Mumford here, so any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 5, in matters presented by Director Hafner in the Office of Special Assistance, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Jessica Janisek versus the West Penn Power Company.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfas, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 5, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Gregory and Donna Colmar versus the West Penn Power Company.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a motion.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. Please enter this motion into the record as though I read it in its entirety. I will not. These are exceptions to the smart meter formal complaint filed by Gregory and Donna Colmar, consistent with the holdings in McDarby versus MetEd and the holding in Povac versus PUC. Not every smart meter related claim requires expert testimony. Although expert testimony may be useful to support the Colmar's claims, it is not required in all cases. When the POVAX court held that expert testimony was needed to prove that smart meter installation constituted unreasonable service, its holding was limited to the need for expert testimony linking RF emissions with adverse health effects. Accordingly, it was improper for the ALJ to grant West Penn's motion for summary judgment because the Colmars were not required as a matter of law to present an expert witness to support their particular claims. Therefore, I move that the exceptions of Gregory and Donna Colmar are granted in part and denied in part, consistent with this motion, and two, that the initial decision issued on May 21st, 2024 is vacated, consistent with this motion. 3, the matter is remanded to the Office of Administrative Law Judge for further proceedings as deemed necessary. And 4, that the Office of Special Assistance shall prepare an order consistent with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. We've heard the motion by Vice Chair Barrow. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and motion passes by a vote of 5-0. On the matters amended by the motion, is there any objection to taking previous roll call? Hearing none, matter passes and amended by a motion by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 6, it should be noted that the informal investigation of the Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement versus the First Energy Pennsylvania Electric Company has been postponed to the public meeting of March 27, 2025. Continuing on page 6, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Bhavin Patel versus UGI Utilities Gas Division.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Yenora. Any discussion?
I do have a verbal statement.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. So the weather normalization adjustment, it's not an easy concept to understand, and the Commission does get a lot of inquiries about how it works. I just want to ask UGI and all of the utilities using a WNA to continue to work on their educational materials. Just try to explain to customers as best they can. Try to simplify it as best you can. Also, just a reminder, interested parties should raise any concerns that they might have about the accuracy or the reasonableness of the weather normalization adjustment during UGI's pending rate case. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. Any further comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 7, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order regarding the letter of notification filed by the Keystone Appalachian Transmission Company.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfas, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a motion.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. Please enter this motion into the record as though read in its entirety. On December 15, 2023, Keystone Appalachian Transmission Company, CATCO, used our LON process to apply to build a transmission line tap to serve a new customer in Washington County. The line is a 138 kV radial facility that interconnects to the transmission system at a single point of interconnection to serve one customer's load. In our May 2024 order, we approved the line, but noted that because of its nature as a distribution facility, the EDC should have filed the application. CATCO's petition for reconsideration presents 3 primary arguments. First, that the Commission improperly considered whether the subject facilities are transmission or distribution assets under FERC Order 888. Second, that the Commission violated the due process rights of CATCO and First Energy PA by analyzing the transmission or distribution classification without providing notice and an opportunity to be heard. And third, that the Commission overlooked factual evidence in making its determination. I disagree with the majority of these arguments, and my rationale is that the responsibility to ensure proper filing rests with the filer. A jurisdictional distribution utility should file LONs for distribution facilities under its responsibility. The vast majority of CATCO's arguments on exception fail once the basic factual question of who should have filed is disposed of. Although I believe that the entirety of the set of facilities described in the application are distribution in nature, I acknowledge that to the extent the original order applied to facilities under CATCO's jurisdictional responsibility, reconsideration is warranted. Accordingly, the petition for reconsideration is granted in part. And for the foregoing reasons, I would find that CATCO's petition, well, I said that already. It's granted in part, denied in part. Therefore, I move that the petition for reconsideration filed on May 23rd, 2024 by Keystone Appalachian Transmission Company is granted in part and denied in part. And two, that the Office of Special Assistant shall prepare an opinion and order consistent with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. We've heard the motion by Vice Chair Barrow. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion?
Chairman, I do have a statement on this case.
Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. I continue to believe that the commission should reconsider its prior order and grant the relief that CATCO has requested. And my statement today really covers a lot of the same concerns that I had raised in my prior statement at this dock, and therefore I'll just ask that my statement be entered into the record as though I read it in its entirety. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Coleman. Any further comments?
Chairman, I'd like to associate myself with Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you, Commissioner Yonora. Any further comments? I do have a statement as well. I asked that my statement be entered into the record as though I read it in its entirety. Before the commission is the petition for reconsideration filed by Keystone Appalachian Transmission Company, or CATCO, to the Commission's May 8, 2024 order approving the subject letter of notification, or LON. The LON was filed to support the demand for an interconnection of a single customer via a 138 kV line tap. The Commission's transmission siting regulations require applications for approval to construct any lines over 100 kV, regardless of whether they are a distribution facility or a transmission facility. Here, the facilities appear to meet the characteristics of distribution. The facilities are radial, flowing power to one customer and not out to the transmission system. Such power is consumed by the single customer in a limited geographic area, and this power is not resold. The Commission properly observed these characteristics within the context of this LON and utilizing the guidance outlined in the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's Order Number 888 to make a reasonable determination that the LON implicated local distribution facilities subject to state jurisdiction. Noting this, the Commission maintained an accommodative posture insofar as we approved the CATCO LON, even though the filing failed to jointly include the applicable distribution utility, First Energy Pennsylvania Electric Company. Our accommodation in this proceeding was intended to timely facilitate the interconnection of the single customer prompting this LON. A Mark West Liberty Midstream and Resources LLC substation and associated natural gas compressor. Determining the proper entity to make a filing before the Commission is always right for deliberation and determination when reviewing that filing. This is particularly the case for LONs that may implicate both transmission and distribution assets. The inherent interconnection of transmission and distribution facilities often necessitates joint applications to be filed. In fact, since this Commission's May 8, 2024 order discussed here, I note that First Energy and its transmission affiliates have routinely filed joint applications, alleviating the concerns raised in this proceeding. Transmission cost increases are materializing for electric customers throughout the Commonwealth. This is an issue at the forefront of interest for this commission. From 2014 to 2024, transmission cost as a total price per megawatt hour in the PJM Regional Transmission Organization footprint, of which Pennsylvania is a part of, increased from $6.38 a megawatt hour to $17.71 a megawatt hour. This represents a more than 170% increase in transmission costs over the 10-year period. Consequently, while I'm committed to facilitating prudent and reasonable build-out of transmission, I am equally committed to avoiding unnecessary and economically inefficient transmission solutions. To that end, I implore all electric distribution companies and transmission companies to get their LON and full siting applications right. Make sure that filings are made by the appropriate entity, and make sure the solutions proposed are those that are most efficient and economic. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
Sean?
No, Chairman, I'm sorry.
The ayes have it, and the matter passes by a vote of 3-2, noting the dissents of Commissioners Coleman and Yenora. On the matter as amended by the motion, is there any objection to taking the previous roll call? Hearing none, the matter passes as amended by the motion by a vote of 3-2, noting the dissents of Commissioners Coleman and Yenora. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 7, it is recommended that that consistent with 4 PA Code, Section 1.43C, the notational vote of the Commission regarding the petition and complaint of the Citizens Telephone Company of Kecksburg et al. Be recorded and entered in the minutes of this public meeting.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Yenora. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no.
Aye.
And the ayes have it by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 8, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Sarah Aed versus UGI Utilities Gas Division.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion?
Chairman? I
Vice
have
Chair Barrow.
just a quick statement, same as I made before. This is another weather normalization complaint. I ask again that UGI and all of the utilities using the WNA continue to work on their educational materials. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passes by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 8, it is recommended that consistent with 4 PA Code, Section 1.43C, the notational vote of the Commission regarding a petition for reconsideration in the rate cases of Aqua Pennsylvania Water and Wastewater be recorded and entered in the minutes of this public meeting.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Yenora, seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 9, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 9, beginning with the application filed by Peace and Blessing Home Care Services, and continuing and ending the omnibus with the item at the top of page 10, the formal complaint of the Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement versus United Cab LLC.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfas, seconded by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 10, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order regarding the petition to open a Section 529 investigation of the Rock Spring Water Company.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Yenora. Any discussion? I do have a motion in this matter. I asked a joint motion with myself and Commissioner Coleman. I asked that the Vice Chair chair the meeting.
I recognize you for your joint motion with Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. I ask that this joint motion be entered into the record as if I read it in its entirety. Before the Commission is Administrative Law Judge John Coogan's February 20th, 2025 order granting the Office of Consumer Advocate's petition for interim emergency order and appointing the Pennsylvania American Water Company as receiver of the Rock Spring Water Company. Pursuant to the Commission's regulations, PAWC and the State College Borough Water Authority filed joint briefs concerning the material question that was certified by ALJ Coogan's order. The material question states whether the granting of the Office of Consumer Advocate's petition for issuance of an interim emergency order and the appointment of Pennsylvania American Water Company as receiver of Rock Spring Water Company was necessary and proper. Based on the record, it is clear that the existence of the need for emergency relief was established. The ALJ found that sufficient evidence was presented at the hearing demonstrating that Rock Spring is not capable of providing continuous and safe water delivery service. We agree. Notably, no party disputes the need for emergency relief or opposes the appointment of a receiver, including Rock Spring. It is apparent that Rock Spring water system has been chronically mismanaged. The ALJ indicated that while the need for a receiver to be appointed is clear, it is less clear which parties should be appointed as the receiver. The ALJ ultimately ordered PAWC to serve as receiver due to its status as an existing provider of public utility service under the Commission's jurisdiction. This situation presents complex issues. On one hand, the record supports the appointment of State College Borough Water Authority as being the most logical choice to serve as receiver. The authority expressed interest in acquiring the Rock Spring system. In its brief, the authority notes that it entered into a letter of intent with Rock Spring to negotiate toward a purchase of Rock Spring. If the authority is appointed receiver and ultimately acquires the system, any plan for rehabilitation of the system will be developed and carried out by the same entity. The authority's main office is approximately 8 miles from the center of Rock Spring system, making daily operation and maintenance tasks more convenient and efficient. And the authority currently provides water service to portions of Ferguson Township, the municipality where Rock Spring is located. The OCA's witness testified that the authority is likely the best situated to serve as receiver and notes the nearest connection between the authority and Rock Spring is only 4,200 feet. The OCA's witness also testified that the authority is likely fit to serve as a receiver of Rock Spring. Rock Spring also notes that the authority is ready, willing, and able to operate as a receiver and is actively seeking to permanently acquire the system. On the other hand, the party who is most suitable to act as a receiver of Rock Spring is not jurisdictional to this commission. The commission lacks clear authority to appoint a non-regulated entity as a receiver of a public utility water system. The authority is subject to the Municipal Authorities Act, which confers exclusive jurisdiction to the Court of Common Pleas to determine questions involving rates or service of municipal authorities. In appointing a receiver, Section 529 obligates the Commission to specify the duties and responsibilities of a receiver, and the authority has conveyed its disinterest in submitting to the Commission's jurisdiction. Under this legal construct, the Commission is constrained to appoint PAWC as receiver. However, we believe that it is necessary to minimize the time which PAWC functions in the role of a receiver. If the authority is ultimately the entity that will permanently acquire Rock Spring, it is prudent to protect PAWC ratepayers from potentially having to bear the financial responsibility for costs associated with the prolonged receivership. Therefore, we propose directing Rock Spring to negotiate in earnest for the transfer of its system to the authority. If an agreement is reached, we direct Rock Spring to expeditiously file an application to transfer its water system assets to the authority and abandon its certificate of public convenience pursuant to sections 1102 and 1103 of the Public Utility Code. We further note that since it is contemplated that a municipal authority would seek to acquire Rock Spring, unnecessary information set forth in section 3.501 of the Commission's regulations does not have to be provided in any application to abandon and transfer the assets, and the requirements therein should be waived. We also propose directing PAWC to assist Rock Spring in facilitating the application filing. Due to the exigent circumstances presented by the condition and mismanagement of Rock Spring, we propose a shorter protest period of 30 days from the date of publication of the notice of any application for abandonment. Also, due to these exigent circumstances, we propose that the Commission's Bureau of Technical Utility Services prepare a public meeting order concerning any uncontested application within 90 days of the date of the application's filing. These measures should prompt the finalization of a permanent acquisition of Rock Spring while ensuring that Rock Spring's customers receive safe and reliable service in the interim. Therefore, we move that 1, the following question certified to the Commission by Administrative Law Judge John M. Coogan on February 20th, 2025 is properly before the Commission. Whether the granting of the Office of Consumer Advocate's petition for issuance of an interim emergency order and the appointment of Pennsylvania American Water Company as a receiver for Rock Spring Water Company was necessary and proper. 2, that the material question certified to the Commission on February 20th, 2025 by Administrative Law Judge John M. Coogan is answered in the affirmative. 3, that the petition for interim emergency relief filed by the Office of Consumer Advocate is granted, consistent with this joint motion. 4, that the order granting petition for issuance of an interim emergency order and certifying material question to the Commission issued by Administrative Law Judge John M. Coogan is adopted as modified consistent with this joint motion. 5, that the duties and responsibilities of the Pennsylvania American Water Company as a receiver shall be established in an appendix. 6, that Rock Spring Water Company negotiate in earnest for the transfer of its water system to the State College Borough Water Authority, and if an agreement is reached, file within 90 days of entry of the opinion and order an application for approval of abandonment of its certificate of public convenience, and that Pennsylvania American Water Company shall assist Rock Spring Water Company in the filing of any application. 7, that the requirements set forth in 52 PA Code 3.501 are waived in any application for approval of abandonment filed by Rock Spring Water Company that proposes to transfer assets to State College Borough Water Authority. 8, if Rock Spring Water Company files an application for approval of abandonment of a certificate of public convenience, A, the Section 529 investigation at docket number P2024-3051313 is stayed, and the application proceedings should be expedited. B, the protest period shall be shortened to 30 days from the date of publication of the notice of application. And C, the Bureau of Technical Utility Services shall prepare a public meeting order within 90 days of the filing of an uncontested application. 9, if the Commission approves an application for approval of abandonment of a certificate of public convenience filed by Rock Spring Water Company, the Section 529 investigation at docket number P2024-3051313 is closed. 10, if the Commission disapproves an application for approval of abandonment of a certificate of public convenience filed by Rock Spring Water Company, the Section 529 investigation at docket number P2024-3051313 should proceed before the Office of Administrative Law Judge for further expedited proceedings. 11, that the Office of Special Assistance draft an opinion and order consistent with this motion. Thank you. Vice Chair Barrow.
You've heard the joint motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any objections? On final adoption, is there any?
I would like to speak on final passage.
Okay, all right. On final adoption, is there any objection to using the previous roll call?
I would like to make some comments before we do that. This hopefully brings to an end resolution, a long-standing case here. I'd like to thank all of my fellow commissioners, especially Commissioner Coleman, for helping draft this motion and a pathway to final resolution. Customers of Rock Springs have experienced unreasonable service for far too long. We believe that this is a pathway forward and establishes a timeline forward. I will say to all parties involved, please negotiate in earnest. We do have a pending 529 proceeding here, and we will resolve this matter if you cannot reach resolution. And finally, I want to thank PA American for stepping in as receiver. This is a tough situation. We hope to bring, again, this situation to a final resolve as expeditiously as possible. Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you, Chairman, and well said just now.
Thank you.
All right. On final adoption, is there any objection to using the previous roll call? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted as amended by the joint motion by a vote of 5-0. Thank you.
Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 11, it is recommended that the commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 11, beginning with the application filed by Grizzlies National Universal Trucking LLC, and continuing and ending the omnibus on page 12 with the application filed by Event Medical Staffing Solutions LLC.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfas, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 13, in matters presented by Director Diskin and the Bureau of Technical Utility Services, it is recommended that the commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 13, beginning with the application of Castleton Commodities Merchant Trading LP, and continuing and ending the omnibus with the first item on page 14, the application of Columbia Gas of Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Yenora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 14, it is recommended that the commission adopt in an omnibus motion the remaining item on page 14, the tariff supplement filed by the Greater Hazleton Community Area New Development Organization, TA Can Do Wastewater, and continuing and ending the omnibus at the top of page 15 to include the tariff supplement filed by the Greater Hazleton Community Area New Development Organization, TA Can Do Water.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Zerfas.
I just wanted to say very quickly in relation to both of these matters, how much I appreciate the fact that there's an agreement to have a small business payment arrangement program in these two matters. So I've said it before, I'll say it again, small businesses are the backbone of our economy. When they succeed, we succeed. So I like to see that these programs are being rolled into these agreements. I'd like to see more of them. Thank you very much.
Any further comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 15, it is recommended that consistent with 4 PA Code, Section 1.43C, the notational vote of the Commission regarding the 2025 Joint Price Stability Index Service Price Index Report filing of the Frontier Companies be recorded and entered in the minutes of this public meeting.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 16, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 16, beginning with the petition filed by the First Energy Pennsylvania Electric Company and ending with the security certificate filed by the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority, doing business as Pittsburgh Water.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 17, it is recommended by Chief Counsel Screven and the Law Bureau that the Commission adopt the proposed final rulemaking order and annex for the Low-Income Usage Reduction Program.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Yenora. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I have a statement.
Commissioner Zerfus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, please enter the statement into the record as if I read it in its entirety. I'm not going to read it, but I will just offer some thanks to the Law Bureau and the Bureau of Consumer Services for their hard work on the rulemaking and for all those who provided comment that went into the final rulemaking and some good stuff, and I'm glad to vote for it today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zerfus. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 18, it is recommended by Chief ALJ Rainey and the Office of Administrative Law Judge that the Commission adopt the initial decision of ALJ Brady in the formal complaint of Jeffrey Berger versus Frontier Communications of Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Yenora. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a statement.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Please enter this statement into the record as though I read it in its entirety. I believe the ALJ's grant of preliminary objections in this case was improper. The legal standard for a preliminary objection seeking dismissal of a pleading is that it will be granted only where relief is clearly warranted and free from doubt. There's no averment in Frontier's pleadings that caller ID is not a protected service pursuant to Frontier's tariff or the VoIP Freedom Act. And I'll leave the rest for anyone that wants to read it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no.
No.
Matter passes by a vote of 4-0, noting the dissent of Vice Chair Barrow. Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes regular agenda. Turning now to the carry-in. On page 1 of the carry-in agenda, it is recommended by the Office of Administrative Law Judge that the Commission adopt the recommended decision of ALJ Vero in the application and joint petition of unanimous settlement of the Pennsylvania American Water Company to acquire and serve the East Dunkard Water Authority.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Yenora, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? I will say that this is another water matter. These are two water matters we've dealt with at today's meeting that have been extraordinary. I was remiss in thanking staff for thinking outside the box on the previous Rock Spring matter, so thank you. And this is another matter. We are going to be faced with more and more extraordinary situations here. Extraordinary situations often require extraordinary solutions and resolutions. So again, I thank the staff for their work here. Thank PA American for stepping in here. This is a system that actually dewatered last year. This was probably the largest system I've ever seen dewater. PA American came in, massive water loss rates here. They've started working on a system. Again, this matter here today brings finality to an issue that we've been dealing with for the last 8-9 months here. So, I just want to point that out there. And again, thank staff for thinking outside the box and coming up with extraordinary solutions to extraordinary problems. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, that concludes all agenda items to be heard today.
Thank you. Before we adjourn today, we have a few remarks and recognitions. And first, I will start with the retirement of ALJ Conrad Johnson. Unfortunately, Judge Johnson was not able to be here with us today, but I did want to recognize his longstanding career at the PUC. ALJ Conrad A. Johnson has served the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as an adjudicator for 18 and a half years. He first served as an unemployment compensation referee with the Department of Labor and Industry's Unemployment Compensation Board of Review. During his summers in law school, he clerked with the Judge Advocate General's Contract Board of Appeals in Falls Church, Virginia. After graduating from the Catholic University of America, Columbus School of Law, he served as a Washington, D.C. public schools hearing officer conducting disciplinaries and special placement hearings for students. When he relocated to Pittsburgh in 1975, he served the underrepresented low-income community while working with Neighborhood Legal Services Association. While there, one of the major cases he handled was the school segregation case, which he successfully argued against the Pittsburgh Public Schools' racially discriminatory practices before the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court. During his career, he has handled cases at the county, state, and federal levels. He has written briefs and argued before all Pennsylvania appellate courts, Superior, Commonwealth, and Supreme. He also has briefed and argued his private cases before the U.S. Third Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia. He had cases where the appellate court's opinions are recorded in both the state and federal reports. Here at the PUC, since 2009, in addition to hundreds of consumer complaint hearings he has held over the past 15 and a half years, he has held public input hearings and evidentiary hearings in several complex rate cases. In 2015, Chief ALJ Charles Rainey awarded ALJ Johnson the Golden Gavel for his decision in Painter v. PA Public Utility Commission. The Golden Gavel is awarded yearly to an ALJ whose decision, initial or recommended, has been a subject of a successful course through the appellate process, or, in the absence of an appellate case, has required outstanding skill in organization and writing skills. ALJ Johnson will be missed by members of OALJ for his collegial disposition and willingness to share his knowledge and assist others. While he is still making plans for his retirement, one thing he intends to do is take time to digitize photos of family and friends so that he can continue to share wonderful memories with all those he has touched. Throughout his tenure with the PUC, he has remained true to his philosophy about the law, which is fidelity to the law. ALJ Johnson will be retiring from the PUC on March 21st, 2025. We wish him and his wife, Carol, a long, happy, and well-deserved retirement together. I will just add that I've only had the fortune of meeting Judge Johnson a few times, but his life experiences I've always enjoyed listening to. I can listen to that guy all afternoon. So I wish him all the best in his retirement. And next, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Yanora for Fix a Leak Week. Commissioner Yanora.
Next week, beginning March 17th, is the National Fix a Leak Week, when we will highlight the importance of water efficiency and conservative efforts. As Vice Chairman of the NERU Committee on Water, I feel it's important to increase the awareness and understanding of how big a role water plays in supporting our communities. Conserving water starts in the home. Leaks in the average household can account for nearly 10,000 gallons of water wasted every year. Common household leaks are often easy to fix, requiring very little tools and hardware. Fixing these leaks not only saves water, but reduces the water utility bill by about 10%. So mark your calendars for Fix Leak Week and check the PUC website and social media channels for tips, information about simple things we can do to identify and fix leaks around the house. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Yanora. Now I'd like to recognize Commissioner Zerfas for International Women's Day. Commissioner Zerfas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On Saturday, March 8th, the Public Utility Commission joined the rest of the world to recognize International Women's Day. It is a global day dedicated to the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. International Women's Day is an opportunity for women and girls to celebrate one another, each other's accomplishments, strengths, and creativity. This year's theme is focused on the need to accelerate action for women's equality. A day to accelerate action in support and encouragement of our sisterhood, for all to unite in action to forge positive change forward for women and girls everywhere. And we can all accelerate action by leading by example. I can tell you that every morning before my 3 children leave for school, I give each one of them a hug and a kiss, and I tell them to go out and put a little good into the world because the world can always use a little bit more. So I'm just one person, one mom, one woman trying to cast a stone into the waters of hope, into the waters of change. But those kids, they're the ripples. They are the ripples in the water. They are the change makers, and they are the next generation. As part of this year's PUC recognition of International Women's Day and Women's History Month, a group photo featuring PUC employees will be taken today here in Hearing Room 1 immediately following the public meeting. That's why you see so many of us wearing purple here today. But whether you remembered your purple or didn't remember your purple, we hope folks will stay behind so we can stand together in solidarity and showcase the many talented employees we have here at the Commission with whom I am honored to work every day. So in closing, I'll just leave you with this. Let's celebrate one another. Let's support one another. Let's insist on one another's success. It's because together we can do so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zerfas. Finally, I would like to recognize Vice Chair Barrow to recognize Women's History Month. Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. Each March, we recognize Women's History Month. That's to commemorate and encourage the study, observance, celebration of the vital role of women in American history. This year, the national theme is Moving Forward Together, Women Educating and Inspiring Generations. And this theme fits perfectly with something I noted last year in my remarks about Women's History Month. We are not just celebrating history. Also, we're celebrating the present and the future. History is being made every day. We're making our own history right here at the PUC. In addition to Commissioner Zerfas and myself, we currently have female leaders that include our Executive Director, Jennifer Barrier, our Deputy Executive Director, Kelly Monahan, as well as in 4 of our bureaus, BCS, Office of Special Assistants, BI&E, and the Secretary's Bureau. Over the decades, I've seen a positive change with more and more women entering the utility and the regulatory workforce. To my fellow female colleagues here at the Commission, I ask you all to please keep up the fabulous work, continue looking for opportunities to showcase your talents and the talents of others. You got to your position because someone else was supporting you and shining a light on you. That's what was done for me. And I was going to name all of the people that kind of supported me over my career, male and female. It's a long list. I won't do that to you. But the one thing I do want to highlight is that this is not just women's job. Men and women need to do that. So pay it forward for the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. If there is no other business to come before the Commission, is there any objection to adjourning today's meeting? Hearing none, we are adjourned.